Hello and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Justice Valley. I am teacher training student at Han School Lahore campus and welcome today. We will be discussing the role of creativity in problem solving. Creativity is not just about art or design. It is the ability to think differently, generate new ideas and find innovative solutions to challenges. In today's rapidly changing world, creative thinking is one of the most valuable skills for solving problem effectively. Let's begin our discussion. Assalamu alaikum Maya.
Walaikum assalam. I'm here and ready when you are. What's on your mind?
So my topic is the role of creativity in problem solving. So my first question is, what does creativity mean to you?
To me, creativity isn't just about painting a map or writing like a way of seeing. It's that look at a problem and see a path that isn't obvious, or connecting two ideas that seemingly have nothing to do with each other to find a solution. It's essentially the art of the what if.
Why is creativity important in problem solving?
Because the most obvious answer isn't always the best one. When we stick to things, we're limited by the tools we already have. Creativity is what lets us build new tools. It turns a dead end into a detour and allows us to solve problems that seem impossible if you only follow the manual. It's the difference between fixing a leak and redesigning the whole plumbing system so it never leaks again.
Can everyone develop creativity?
Absolutely. A lot of people think you're either born with a creative gene or you're not, but that's a total myth. Creativity is more like a muscle. The more you flex it, the stronger it gets. It's really just about practicing a mindset of curiosity and giving yourself permission to be a little messy while you're figuring things out.
How does creativity help us solve everyday problems?
That's a smart way to approach it. Dealing with the most urgent things first clears the mental space you need to actually get creative with the rest. Do you find that the pressure of a priority problem makes it harder to think creatively? Or does it actually push you to find a solution faster?
Can teamwork improve creativity?
Definitely. There's something about bouncing an idea off someone else that transforms it. One person might have a fragment of a solution and another has the missing piece. And when you put them together, you get something neither of you could have come up with alone. It's like a creative chain reaction.
What is the difference between creativity and creative thinking and theoretical thinking?
Theoretical thinking is like studying the map, while creative thinking is like exploring the actual terrain. Theoretical thinking is about frameworks, laws, and established logic. It's using what we already know to be true to predict an outcome. Creative thinking, on the other hand, is about questioning those laws. It's the drive to ask, I know this is how it's always been done, but what happens if we do the exact opposite? One is about mastery of the rules, and the other is about knowing when to break them.
How does curiosity encourage creativity?
I'm not sure I follow you there. Could you tell me more about who Kuros and Kadish are?
What are the biggest barriers to creative thinking?
The biggest one is usually fear, specifically the fear of looking silly. When we're terrified of being wrong or getting a weird look from others, we stop taking risks. Then there's the this is how we've always done it mentality, which is basically a creativity killer. It creates a mental rut where we stop questioning the process because it feels safer to just follow the script. Do you feel like any of those show up more for you than others?
How does creativity help in education?
It turns learning from a chore into a discovery. In education, create from just memorizing facts and toward understanding how to apply them. It encourages students to ask why and how instead of just what. When a student is encouraged to solve a math problem in 3 different ways or relate a history lesson to a modern day event, they aren't just absorbing information, they're owning it. It makes the whole process more engaging because it gives the learner a voice in how they discover the world.
Can failure lead to more creative solutions?
In a huge way, failure is basically the way of telling you that one specific path is a dead end, which forces you to look for another one. The most creative solutions usually happen right after the first 3 perfect plans completely fall apart. It strips away the obvious answers and pushes you to get weird and experimental because you have no other choice. It's essentially the messy phase of learning that actually makes the final result better. You're very welcome. I'm
How,
diving into this with you.
how can
Do you have
brainstorming
another topic on your list for today, or you caught me mid-sentence? I'll take that as it was a great session. I love how you structured those questions. So I'll be here whenever you're ready.
how can brainstorming generate better ideas?
Wait, we're back in the zone. Break because it removes the filter we usually have when we're thinking alone. When you're in a group or even just doing a rapid fire list by yourself, the goal is quantity over quality. By throwing everything at the wall, including the truly wild ideas, you stop the inner critic from shutting down a thought. You often serves as a step kind of brainstorming or just a free for all.
How do successful people use creativity in their work?
They usually stop seeing creativity as a separate task and start seeing it as a strategy. The most successful people don't just wait for light. They use creativity to find efficiencies where others see a routine. They're constantly asking how to do something faster, simpler, or in a way that solves a problem before it even happens. It's less about being artistic and more about being an obsessive problem solver who isn't afraid to experiment with their workflow.
What what advice would you give to someone who thinks they are not creative?
First, I'd tell them to stop using that word as a label. We've been taught that being creative means you can paint or play an instrument, but in reality, creativity is just problem solving with a bit of imagination. I'd suggest they start small, like trying to find 3 different ways to organize their desk or taking a new route home. Once you realize that making a small, unexpected choice is actually an act of creativity, the fear of not being creative enough usually just disappears.
How can we create an environment that encourages creativity?
You have to make it safe to be wrong. The second people feel like they'll be judged or penalized for a mistake, they stop taking risks. And that's where creativity dies. You need an environment where bad ideas are treated as necessary stepping stones rather than failures. Whether it's a workplace or a home, encouraging curiosity over perfection, giving people the actual time and space to play around with ideas without a ticking clock over their heads is huge.
So my last question is, what is the biggest lesson you have learned about creativity and problem solving?
Curiosity beats perfection every time.
Thank you everyone for joining today's discussion on the role of creativity in problem solving. I hope today's conversation has inspired you to think creatively and approach
You're so welcome.
challenges with confidence. Remember, every problem has solution, and creativity often help us discover the best one. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in our next discussion. I have a wonderful day. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.